Saturday morning at Redwood Falls Farmers Market was your typical cheerful chaos. Kids clutching kettle corn, retirees browsing honey jars, the air thick with peaches and sunshine. Then suddenly, a scream sliced through the calm like a knife. People spun around to see two cops wrestling a black woman to the pavement, her dress ripping badly, peaches tumbling everywhere. That woman was Danielle Brooks, 34, skin the color of rich mahogany, wearing a navy summer dress now torn to expose her thigh. Barefoot because her sandals flew off in the struggle. Her hair, usually tightly coiled and pinned up, had loosened slightly, but her voice stayed steady. "You're making a mistake. I have a receipt." That soap was a gift. The officers, clean, the red-faced, stocky one barking orders, and Deputy Halden, lean and nervous, didn't seem to care about the receipt fluttering to the ground. Phones came out instantly, cameras started rolling, and the crowd around them grew tense. Someone shouted, "That's Danielle. She works with the school literacy program." But that didn't stop the cuffs going on. Here's the thing. Danielle wasn't just any shopper or advocate. She was a licensed attorney, a Columbia law grad, and a former DOJ civil rights investigator. She'd spent years embedded in police misconduct task forces, now working undercover for a nonprofit watchdog group. Today's arrest wasn't just a brutal mistake. It was a disaster the department would never shake. As they hauled her up, her torn dress barely covering her, Danielle caught the eye of a teenage girl streaming live on her phone. That single look was confirmation. This wouldn't be swept under the rug. Inside the police cruiser, the heat was stifling. Clean sneered, "You think you can shoplift and play victim?" Danielle said nothing, but Halden's glance in the rearview mirror betrayed hesitation, maybe recognition. Then it was gone. Danielle leaned back and warned, "You're going to regret this." Clean laughed it off, but before they could leave, a market vendor banged on the window, insisting, "You got the wrong person. I sold her that soap. I know her." Clean ignored him. By the time they reached the station, 3 clips of the incident were already viral, one from above showing Danielle's struggle and ripped dress, another capturing her hitting the pavement, and a third live stream of the crowd's outrage and Halden's shadowed face. The precinct, an older officer looked confused. "Who's this?" Clean muttered, "Caught her shoplifting." The older man squinted at Danielle. "Isn't that the school lady? The reading campaign? She ran when asked to show her bag." Danielle chuckled quietly. She was already turning their story on its head. Klein's eyes narrowed. "Keep talking. You'll get resisting too." Thrown into a holding cell, Danielle faced the cold gray walls, cuffs biting her wrists, the torn dress crudely patched with a thin blanket tossed her way. She wasn't angry, not yet. She was calculating. The call she made earlier had triggered a rapid response from the Justice League Foundation, a nonprofit coalition of legal pros and investigators. This was far from over. 15 minutes later, Clean returned holding her phone. "Passcode," he demanded. Danielle refused. "You're not getting it back without unlocking it." "I want my call," she said calmly. Begrudgingly, he allowed it. She dialed a secure number. "This is Shadow 13, Danielle. Activation required. Redwood Falls. Incident code 4D. After a pause, the voice on the other end said, "Understood. You're live." Clean stared in disbelief. Danielle looked him straight in the eye. "You just arrested the wrong damn woman." News spread fast. A mid-tier reporter tweeted the story by mid-afternoon. "Woman assaulted during Redwood Falls arrest is a former DOJ civil rights lawyer." Video shows police ripping her dress during wrongful detainment. By evening, national attention had exploded. The precinct's security footage was mysteriously leaked to an encrypted server named Redwood Fallout. Halden replayed the moments over and over, the torn dress, the crowd shouts, Danielle's unwavering calm. Internal affairs would come knocking, and so would the public. But Danielle sat composed in the holding cell, eyes closed, the storm just beginning. That night, Sheriff Buckley showed up, flanked by Clean and others, trying to calm things with talk of misunderstandings and tempers flaring. Danielle wasn't buying it. "Maybe the receipt was misunderstood," she said dryly. "Or maybe it was when Clean ripped my dress in front of children." Buckley smiled thinly, promising release but no apology. Danielle stood tall, demanding every file on Clean and Halden complaints, body cam logs, everything by sunset. Buckley dismissed her, But the look in Danielle's eyes told him she knew exactly what was coming. Released without charges, Danielle walked out into a changed town. Phones were pointed at her. Whispers filled the air. A sleek gray Hyundai waited. Inside, Eli Warner, a sharp-eyed former DOJ agent, and her partner, watched the scene unfold silently. In the quiet right away, they reviewed the files, years of complaints against Clean and Holden, all quietly closed. Surveillance footage wiped but backups secured by her team, accounts of a system built to protect itself. Eli asked if she was sure about staying embedded. Danielle locked eyes with him. Exposing them from the outside? That won't work. You have to crawl inside the rod to burn it down. They checked into a nondescript motel. The messages flooded in. A principal shared video of a student brutalized by the same officers, a retired black cop leaked body cam redactions, and a hardware store's footage confirmed every detail of Danielle's arrest. The mayor issued a bland, non-apology press statement, trying to contain the fallout. Danielle knew it was a PR stall. "We push back." Loud and fast, she told Eli. Then came a surprise ally. A waitress at a nearby diner slipped Danielle a flash drive with dash cam footage of her brother's arrest years earlier by Clean. Police brutality swept under the rug. "You're not alone," she said. The movement ignited. Social media erupted. National outlets took up the cause. Activists planned protests. Civil rights lawyers dissected every frame. Danielle's story was no longer just hers. It was a signal fire for everyone silenced by systemic abuse. But the backlash was real. A right-wing podcast outed Danielle's full resume, trying to spin her as a plant. The mayor followed up, casting doubt on her intentions. Danielle shrugged it off. "Scared people get louder before they collapse," she said. Standing in front of cameras and microphones outside the motel, Danielle spoke with fierce clarity. "I didn't come to trap officers. I came to hold them accountable. What happens when those we trust humiliate us? When they rip our dignity open in broad daylight and walk away?" I'm Danielle Brooks, former DOJ investigator, and I chose not to be quiet. Her words struck a chord. Protests grew, but so did quiet solidarity, candlelight vigils, silent gatherings, a city refusing to look away. Then, an anonymous tip brought in explosive new evidence, body cam audio revealing Sheriff Buckley instructing officers to rip her credibility before the feds show up. The fallout was immediate. Clarion Shield, the private surveillance firm secretly contracted by the PD, was implicated. Its CEO was found dead, an apparent suicide, but Danielle and Eli knew better. They uncovered a chilling directive, high-visibility arrest of women of color to sow division and fear. It wasn't just corruption, it was strategy. Danielle live-streamed a raw, unfiltered plea to the public. This isn't about one arrest. It's about every person silenced, every dress torn, every erased video. This is evidence. This is exposure. This is power. Thousands showed up outside the precinct, not shouting, just standing shoulder to shoulder, a human shield against injustice. The department became a fortress under siege. Federal agents swarmed the building, confiscating files, seizing servers as the system crumbled. But one man was missing, Officer Clean. His silence was ominous. A tip led Danielle and Eli to his brother's cabin on the foggy edge of Reading Lake. Clean, worn and haunted, admitted the truth orders came from Buckley, who orchestrated the smear campaign to ruin Danielle. Clean poured out everything: contracts, messages, admissions, naming Deputy Mayor Collier as a key player profiting from the cover-up. Danielle recorded it all, knowing this confession cracked the spine of the operation. Back at the motel, uploads went live. The movement surged, protests turned into vigils. People sang, stood in silence, and refused to be invisible. The courtroom was packed when Danielle faced Buckley and Clean, now stripped of their uniforms. Her closing statement was a powerful indictment. "This isn't just about me. It's about the erosion of dignity, the machinery of silence. But today, you have the power to stop it." The judge's ruling dropped like a bomb, charges against Danielle dismissed, a federal investigation launched, Clean and Buckley referred for prosecution, and Clarion Shield contracts halted statewide. Outside the farmers' market where it began, life was quieter but different. People nodded in solidarity, no fanfare, just understanding. Tasha, the teen who live-streamed the first clip, smiled shyly. You really did it. Danielle knelt, eyes locked. No, we did. That night, alone in her motel room, Danielle recorded a final message, no script, no notes. Holding the torn piece of her dress, she said softly, "They thought ripping my dress would erase me. What it did was uncover them. This isn't just my story. It's yours." Every person told to sit down, shut up, or smile through humiliation. She leaned closer, voice firm. If this story means